failure mode effect analysis. Easiest way to understand FMEA is very simple. For each and every activity what you are going to perform, what you have performed, you can determine that there may be a chance of failure. There may be a probability of failure. This automatically happens in business too. Whatever may be the nature of business, either it's a manufacturing sector or a service sector, any other thing, there may be a probability of failure. So what TQM suggests you, what TQM principles suggest you is one thing. You can expect a failure from your activities. And why can't you analyze it, why it happens? And why can't you make, after analysis, what to do in order to avoid that failure? If you are clear with this particular ideology, automatically FMEA will be an interesting and easiest concept to learn. Again, I'm just insisting it. Most of the organizations who have the vision of getting quality product in the market, they usually follow FMEA in their organization. It's a finest concept which came from Japan. As I said in your classes, all the quality concepts emerged from Japan. FMEA will help you a lot in making yourself that yes, I'm confident in delivering a quality product. So when you concentrate more on what are the failure modes arises when you go for an operation or an activity, a process, a function, you have to analyze it. If anything happens, what may be the effect and how I am going to manage it. So this we are going to discuss in FMEA, failure mode effect analysis. So we are going to dig more related to FMEA. It will be more interesting to you, as I said, if you learn, if you understand the ideology behind FMEA, right? We will start. By the diagram itself, you can easily understand that what actually FMEA states. So as I said, the expansion of FMEA is failure mode effect analysis. So failure is the potential failures what an organization encounters. And the mode concentrates on three things, that is the types, the ways or the possibilities of failures. And the effect, it concentrates on the negative effect on the process under study. What may be the effects if it happens, if the failure mode happens. And finally, for analysis, study the risk and try to reduce it. So by this diagram itself, we can easily understand that what FMEA actually tells us, teaches us, what we have to learn. So by this, I'm just making for the exploring of a lot related to FMEA. This is the definition for FMEA, that failure modes and effect analysis is a step-by-step approach for identifying all possible failures in a design, a manufacturing or an assembly process or a product or a service. So whatever may be the concept of either you are going for a design or either you are going for a manufacturing process or an assembly process or for a product or service, when we concentrate on finding all possible failures in and understanding what may be the effect of those particular failures, it is termed as FMEA, failure mode and effects analysis. So what is the purpose of FMEA actually? It is a methodology that facilitates the process improvement. We all concentrate more on the total quality management principles, that it accelerates continuous process improvement. So that's the thing it usually supports. It is a methodology, FMEA is a methodology that facilitates the process improvement in your organization. It also identifies and eliminates the concerns early in the development of a process or a design. So in the earlier stage itself, it helps us to identify what may be the failure mode will arises if you practice the same thing, and what may be the effect. So that helps most of the organization in delivering a quality product. And it also improve the internal and external customer satisfaction. Internal customers automatically, obviously, the employees, and the external customers who consumes the product or who uses the product. So it helps in improving the internal and external customer satisfaction. And finally, it's a risk management tools. So when it have been termed as a risk management tool, it alerts you, it focuses you for the prevention of failures. So these are all the major purpose of FMEA, why organization try to practice it. In the next slides, we can discuss about the types of FMEA. So I just had 5 types usually carried out in each and every organization. The first one is system FMEA. It automatically focuses on global system functions. What are the functions available in an organization? In each and every organization, there will be a lot of functions in getting finished products, converting the raw materials with the help of a process. So when you concentrate on the functions, functional level, what may be the failure, what may be the effect, automatically called system FMEA. The second type is a design FMEA. When you concentrate or when you focus only on the particular design of a product, automatically it is called as design FMEA. And process FMEA, when you focus on a manufacturing and assembly process in an organization, what may be the failure mode and what may be the effect, it is called as process FMEA. And in service sector, when you go for focusing on what are the service functions, how services have been delivered, and what may be the failure one, automatically it is called as service FMEA. And finally, software FMEA, when it focuses on software functions, it is termed as software FMEA. So for each and every sector or type, we have, when we proceed our FMEA, it is termed as system FMEA, design FMEA, process FMEA, service FMEA, and software FMEA. Actually, what do you mean by failure mode? Usually, people get a question like this: what is actually a failure mode? So here is an explanation about what is a failure mode. The way in which the component or sub-assembly or product or a process could fail to perform its intended function. You made something, this is what I am going to achieve. If it fails in achieving that particular performance level, automatically we can say it's a failure mode. So it may result in the previous operations or may cause next operations to fail. So a small thing automatically creates a lot of impact in the production process. As I said in your earlier classes, that's like a dominoes effect. When you trigger something, because the business functions are interrelated and interdependent. When you trigger anything, automatically it affects the all. That's what we call it as a failure mode. So there exhibits two kinds of failure mode. One is internal and another one is external. Internally within your organization and externally outside your organization. That may be easy to understand from your point of view. So what we are going to concentrate in internal failure, it's related to your warehouse, may be related to your production process, may be related to your product layout, plant layout or process layout, whatever it may be within an organization. When there is a chance of occurrence of failure, it is internal failure mode. And when certain things like supplier location, supplier delivery, final consumer have different tastes and preferences, their attitude, everything triggers you for external failure too. And the distributors, suppliers, media, competitors automatically influences your organizational performance. This is termed as external failure mode. Then we are going to discuss about a case study related to FMEA for a better understanding about what we mean by FMEA and what maybe it supports and what will be the lessons you can learn from FMEA practices. So it's a case study from NASA. They've just thought of launching what we say it is a cube satellite. It have been launched and certain failure mode they've just analyzed and then they remodeled and then they just launch the product. Sorry, the satellite, cube satellite. The name is Abisat 1 for the first ever 4-inch cube satellite to be accepted by NASA for launch. It was launched into the space on 28 October 2011 from Vandenberg Air Force Base in California on a NASA sponsored Delta II rocket. They just clubbed this Abisat 1 cube satellite along with Delta II rocket on October 28th 2011. So what the failure mode they've just faced? First, the team had problems making contact with the satellite. They just launched the satellite. It have been what we say it is deployed from Delta II force, Delta II rocket, and the scientists who are all tracking the performance of this particular cube satellite, they couldn't establish a proper contact with the satellite. That's the first step. So after this case study, you can also imagine yourself that what have happened to Chandrayaan. Okay, so the same type of case study, but it happened in 2011. Second problem what they face is one of the two antennas failed to deploy. So it have not had started to. It have two antennas, but instead of functioning, one of the antenna started to fail. And the third problem what they just face is the signal transmitter at the control center did not have enough power to communicate with the satellite. So the signal transmitter in the particular satellite, the cube satellite, it have not performed in order to make a clear-cut communication between the NASA unit. Okay, these are the failure mode they just faced at the time of launch. How it have been solved? As I said, it is a mini case study. The team have used another signal transmitter from an earlier flight. Already they have sent some other transmitter in the space, and automatically with that help, they just established the connectivity and they got enough power, and automatically they just worked out a better connection with Abisat 2.1. So this is what they solved. What are the lessons they have learned from these case studies? First lesson is we have to plan for the errors that have not yet been adopted by NASA. That's visible from this case study itself. So you have to plan for errors. So the use of FMEA most likely to have avoided the malfunction involving people from the earlier flight. So you have to plan for the errors. This may happen. If it happens, what I have to do? What is the support I'm going to get it? Where I'm going to get it? Everything comes here. The second lesson what they have learned is a teamwork. If there is no teamwork, automatically it's a failure one. It's a failure launch in 2011. The collaboration relationship between the teams enabled the team to use the alternative equipment. It is from other unit which have been already launched in the flight. Without it, the mission could be failed. So this is the case study related to NASA based upon FMEA. So by this you can easily understand that why this particular technique or a tool is important for establishing total quality management principles. This is the actual sample of a FMEA form, how it will be. So what we are going to do here with the help of a form, for each and every activity or your operation in your organization. You have to concentrate on developing these type of forms, and you have to make a proper entry of what may be the failure mode and what may be its effects and how to solve it. Here we concentrate more on reducing the risks. That's the major thing. So while you list out what may be the failure modes arise in this particular activity or in this particular function or in this particular process or in this particular operation, you can just like that judge what may be the risks may arise. So if we try to reduce those risks, automatically it's a successful one. So you have to develop an FMEA form. Right. In this slide, we are going to discuss about the FMEA procedure. How it can be carried out in an organization. The first step is for each process input, determine the ways in which the input can go wrong. That's what we call it as a failure mode. So whatever the input you enter into an organizational operations, you judge or you determine what are the ways where this particular input can go wrong. The second step in FMEA procedure is for each failure mode, determine the effects. You know very well, when you give an input, you determine what may be the failure mode. For each and every failure mode, you just verify it, what may be the effect if it have been carried out. So select a severity level for each effect. So not only determining it, you have to select the severity level, how far it can create a problem for that particular operation. And the third step is identify the potential causes for each failure mode. What may be the potential causes for this failure mode, and by this can be done by selecting the occurrence level of each case. For each and every cause, what may be the occurrence level? So two things you have to concentrate more. You have to concentrate on determining how far the severity level goes, and again how far it may occur. So severity level and occurrence level plays a vital role in determining your FMEA procedure. And finally, which is another vital element, we call it as, you have to list the controls for each cause. What are the controls? How to control that particular cause and effect? So here you are going to select a detection level for each cause. So three things automatically determine your FMEA procedure. First one is severity level, how far this particular failure mode create problem. The second one is how many times or how long it may occur. That's what we call it as an occurrence level. And finally, you have to go for in the detection level for each and every cause of failure. So here we are going to determine RPN. The expansion of RPN is risk priority number. So when you concentrate on developing the risk priority number, after listing out the four things, the severity, the occurrence and the detection, how we are going to calculate the risk priority number is, you're just going to multiply the severity level, you go with occurrence level, and it is multiplied with the detection level. So that's the reason I said it is more vital. If you are not good enough in understanding or developing your risk priority number, automatically the failure mode effect analysis automatically fails. Fifth step is calculate the risk priority number, RPN. As I said in the earlier slide, yes, with the help of severity level, occurrence level and detection level, you can understand or you can calculate the risk priority number. And the sixth step in FMEA procedure is develop a recommended actions. So you know what may cause, what may be the effect, how many times it may come, there may be a chance of occurring it, and how I did what may be the detective mode in order to find the cause. So I have all these things. So what I can do, I can recommend for actions. So here I have to confirm one thing. Usually for a decision making, we used to say, being a management faculty, I used to say, in decision making is making a better decisions for a problem. So if you want to go for a better decision for the problem, you have to identify the problem first. If you are not identifying the problem first, automatically whatever may be the suggestions will never be a suitable one for you. It will never be a better solution for it. So identify a problem. That's the thing I've been insisted here in FMEA. So develop a recommended action because you have identified what is the severity, what is the root cause of the problem, what is the severity, what is the occurrence level, and automatically you might have develop what may be the solution for it. So develop a recommended action and assign responsible person and take actions. Just like that, you can assign persons who are all not good enough in problem solving. So you assign the responsible person to solve the problem and you just carry out actions. Give priority to high RPNs, right? You know very well, after developing a FMEA form, you can find which have highest risk in the particular failure modes. You concentrate more on what we say it as concentrating more on finding the best solution for the particular risk and must look at the highest severity. So two things has to be kept in mind. One is which have high risk and another one is which have high severity. And the last step is you assign the predicted severity, occurrence and detection levels and compare the RPNs before and after the risk reduction. You just to make a comparison. So after executing the action, how well it supports you, how well it solve the problem what we face. So that's about FMEA procedure. And in next slide, we can discuss related to the rating scales of FMEA. So the preferred rating scales is 1 to 10. So not more than that, 1 to 10. Right? So you have to adjust the occurrence scales to reality figures of your company. So that's the second concept what we have to concentrate on developing our rating scales. First one is it should not go beyond 10. And the second one is you have to adjust the occurrence level. So severity 1 equal to not severe. But when it is 10, it is very severe. So where we have to give more concentration, when it is above 7, it comes under severity levels, very severe. Okay, if it is 10, you have to give priority to that particular severity. Second, occurrence 1 is not likely. It may or it may not. But whereas if it is 10, very likely, often it occurs. And the third is detection level. Detection level 1 is easy to detect whatever the problem arises. But whereas if it is 10, it is not at all easy to detect. So by these rating skills, you can easily understand that where to concentrate in giving a solution in order to overcome the failure mode. By this, I am going for the risk priority number development. RPN is the product of the severity, occurrence and detection scores. As I said, if your RPN is 10 into 10 into 10, that is severity is 10, occurrence is 10, detection is 10. So totally 1000 is your RPN. This makes you to concentrate, to give more attention to solve that particular issue, and then only you have to think it of moving to the next. So this is what the way how to calculate the risk priority number. So here your FMEA form helps you in each and every activity, in each and every operations. That's the main thing you have to keep in mind. The next, I've just listed out, I have taken an example and I've just listed out some 10-step checklist for process FMEA. Where we have studied about 5 types: system FMEA, process FMEA. Here I have taken the basic checklist adopted by most of the organization for process FMEA. So by this you can easily understand that how it works. Okay. The first one is you have to review the process, what is currently practiced in that organization. The second one is you have to brainstorm the potential failure modes. You have to think it in a different way, that what may be the failure mode arises related to the regular process work you follow in your organization. And the third one is you have to list the potential effects of failures. What may be the effect of the failures, you have to list it. And the fourth step is the assign severity rankings for each and every happenings. What may be the severity level, you have to determine it. And then in fifth checklist, we are concentrating on assigning the occurrence makings. How long it may occur, how many times it may occur, what may be the chances of occurrence, everything have been must be ranked. And in sixth step, we have to assign the detection rankings, whether the errors may be easily detected or not. You are going for the rankings. And in the seventh step, we are going to calculate the RPN, that is a risk priority number we are going to calculate, because you know that you have identified the severity level, you have identified the occurrence level, and you have identified the detection level, right? So when you calculate RPN number, it helps you in developing the action plan, that is define who will do and what they are going to do and when they are going to perform. Everything will be managed in developing the action plan. And in the ninth step, taking action, implementing the improvements identified based upon the FMEA. So what are the solutions? You have just brainstormed, everything will be incorporated and you are going to implement in your action. Okay, and finally calculate the resulting RPN. So after implementing that particular action, you are going to re-evaluate how well the particular solution have made a good impact in reducing the risk of that particular failure. So this is about FMEA, that is failure mode and effect analysis. Hope guys you have understood these two concepts are related to TQM techniques and tools. We will meet in the other video lecture. Until then, goodbye. Thank you.